Well, as the weekend come to a close, it does not mean we have to end things here. But if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, you're in luck. That's what this episode's gonna be about. So we're gonna be, of course, reviewing Gatoh Move's much recent event that took place back on May 30th. This one is called Road to Korakuen. Apple Ambitions Mei Suruga's 6th anniversary. So basically, we're going to be celebrating Mei Suruga's anniversary, but she will be defending her tag team titles with Balinaki to take on her mentor and her tag partner, Masahiro Takanashi and Emi Sakura. And then we move on with two back-to-back events from Stardom. They're much recent shows. The first one will be in Sendai. As you know, we're getting closer and closer to many of their upcoming events. But this one in Sendai had a very interesting moment. As you know, it was, of course, Sayori Onoi and Natsupoi's anniversary. I think they are celebrating their 9th anniversary or something like that. But yes, that's very interesting to watch. And then we move on, of course, with their upcoming, then later their event, Korakuen Hall, that took place on the 2nd of June. Basically, this one features a very interesting match. One of them features all 6 members of Cosmic Angels teaming up for the first time to take on Queen's Quest, and of course, along with Starlight Kid. And then, of course, we do have the artist belts being defended. But however, at the post match, something very interesting took place, and I think many of us will be talking about that. And then, of course, we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including some developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed right now. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos. We talk various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, I believe it's time to get this show on the road. I believe our first review is, of course, Gatoh Move. Okay, so our first review, Gatoh Move. This is a part of the Road to Korakuen. Now, as you know, it's been nearly years since Gatoh Move did a show in Korakuen, and now we're going to be getting one as well. But, however, they've been throwing shows that will get us to that, and this is one of them. And this one's called the Apple Ambitious Mei Suruga's 6th anniversary. Now, those who don't know, Mei Suruga has been dubbed as the Big Apple, despite of her size. But if you ever seen her, yeah. And then of course there's been video clips of her drinking apple juice. Balina Aki can attest to that because he's seen it himself. But it's just a special moment. But she is in the main event with her tag partner. Balinaki will be defending, of course, the Asian Dream Tag Team titles against Emi Sakura, who serves as Mei Suruga's mentor, and of course her tag partner Masahiro Takanashi. So that's a very interesting thing to watch. But however, it opened up with Mei Suruga doing her little performance that she normally does when it comes to Gatoh Move all the time. She doesn't do this normally in Choco Pro, but she has done some reference. I think I don't know if this was like giving a taste of the song that she's been working with during the entire time. No, but when she started doing this, she was how to say, being accompanied by Chiko Shikawa and Miya Yatsuba. But there was this one time that, of course, she wasn't there, or Mia wasn't, but they took turns on that. But it was great that that happened. Now let's begin with our first match. Our first match, we have Hiroi Yawada, who makes her official debut. As you know, she's been making exhibition matches in Choco Pro. She teams up with Irikane, who not too long ago actually made her debut as well. It's interesting that these two rookies just, you know, teamed up in the same time. But however, they're going to have their hands full with Nonaka Seto, who we're almost reaching to her full year as well, ever since she joined the promotion. And of course, Mochi Natsumi, who many of you or many don't, she is also one of Emi Sakura's students. So basically, you would think, okay, looking at this match, Nonaka Seto, not much of that experience, but she knows how to get the job done. But you look at Mochi Natsumi, who has more experience than all the three people in the same ring with her combined. But of course, it was Natsumi who picked up the win when she applied a torture rack on Hiroi, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Chiko Shikawa and Sayaka Obihiro taking on Kurumi Harige and Sawadi Kamen. So that's a very interesting thing to watch. You would think that, okay, it's going to be a tough challenge. One, Kurumi is in fact A, part of Prominence, and B, a much bigger competitor. However, you Kamen, who is in fact a dude in the ring, but he's not afraid to get in the ring, to throw down with the women, but he knows what he's doing. So you would think that there's going to be some difference here. Now, Chiko Shikawa, her unique feature is that she has too much energy. If you guys ever seen her, she likes to around people in circles. And of course, you have Obi herself. She has a very unorthodox methods, but it gets the job done. But it was her who picked up the win when she applied the schoolboy on Sawadi Kamen. And just like that, it was 1, 2, 3, adios, Kamen, just like that. Now, our next match, we have a bit of an 8-person tag match. Team number 1, we have Chon Shiru, Makoto, Tokiku Kira, and Mao. Now, Mao kind of dressed up like a version of, what's his name, Orange Cassidy. And everybody, all the others, other than other than Mao, they kind of dress up like Kung Fu-like type. You know, Chon Shiru does have that Kung Fu look, but yes. But their opponents, people calling them the Baka Gaijin crew, consistent of Antonio Honda, Sayaka, and Mecha Mami, and of course the guy who brings those shows, Chris Brooks. So it's a very interesting dynamic that two different groups are together. That Chris Brooks has his crew who appears in Baka Gaijin, so that kind of is interesting to see. But you may never know how this thing was going to end. You would think there was going to be some interesting moments. Of course, there were moments. I mean, Mecha Mami was going to do something with his mechanical things, but it was Chris Brooks with the pile driver on Chon that made the huge difference right there and allowing for him to pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have a singles match, and I think this is our only one we have for that one. We have Miya Yatsuba versus Veni. So I'm like thinking, oh, good luck, Miya, because Veni, she is no slouch. She's a tad bit aggressive and a bit more violent. Well, not that violent, but yes, that's the thing. I don't think Miya has ever been in a ring with someone like her. I mean, if you ever seen Veni, she doesn't play any games at all. And I think that makes it different for Miya, because she's stepping into outside her comfort zone, knowing that she's not facing an ordinary wrestler that you normally don't see in Choco Pro. I mean, she has appeared, but this is before her time. But unfortunately, this match ended with Venny applying a moonsault, and it was over just like that. Now, our main event, the Asian Dream Tag Team titles are on the line. The challengers, Emi Sakura and Masahiro Takanashi. Those two, in fact, have known each other for a long time, even their time when they were in Thailand. But they're facing against the best bros, Mei Suruga and Balinaki. Now, it's no secret that these two teams had fought each other before, either on Gatoh Move or in Choco Pro, however they put it. But nonetheless, that has always been the case. Now, as you know, Emi Sakura is the current Super Asia champion. So basically, if she wins this match, she's a double champion. Carries both belts by her side, but she has to face against her own student. Now, we know in the past there have been moments where Mei Suruga has been unable to defeat her own mentor, even no matter how many times Mei Suruga has tried. But unfortunately, this was a very interesting dynamic. I mean, the showdown was between both mentor and student. That's always been the case. But unfortunately, Mei was not strong enough like she would have thought, because Emi Sakura applied a Mahestral, and just like that, she and Masa are now the new Asian Dream Tag Team Champions. So the real question we ask ourselves, what's next for with Mei Suruga? Well, I would say, for me, if it was me, I would say she would definitely have to make a play for the Super Asian Championship, because many people that often she should have been the ace when Riho left, and I have to agree, and even Balinaki believed that too. If that's what Mei Suruga has to do, step up to be the next ace. But we'll see what happens until then. But as of right now, I believe we are done with Gatoh Move. I believe it's time for Stardom. Okay, Stardom and Sendai. As I said before, they celebrate the anniversary of Natsupoi and Sayuri Onoi. So they will be in the main event teaming up with Tam Nakano. They will face against the members of Stars. So we'll get to that in a bit. Now, our first match, we have singles action. We have Rian, who just came back after due to health issues. Now she's ready to go. She faces against Hanako. Now, I figured this match was going to end with Hanako because, Hanako has more experience than Rian. Rian hasn't made her debut not too long ago, but it made more sense. But I'm not sure what Hanako applied was the JP coaster, which is a move that Himeka was willing to give her once she retired, and pretty much that's what happened. But we'll see where that leads us from there. But Hanako picked up the win from that. Now, our next match, we have God's Eye, consistent of Rana Yagami, Saki Kashima, and Ami Suri. They take on Star members Momokogo, Saya Ida, and Koguma. Now, very interesting dynamics of this particular match. I mean, thing is, you do have Ami Suri, who is a very strong, capable wrestler. Saki Kashima, well, she likes to play dirty tricks. Rana Yagami, just, still in her rookie time. But, however, she is capable of doing some excellent strike kicks. However, they face against Stars. Momo, who, we've seen her, she takes more losses than anybody. Saida, don't be fooled by her size. She's a strong competitor. I mean, she can actually take on someone like Ami Suri. And then, of course, there's Koguma. Well, Koguma. The bear always has something up her sleeve. But, nonetheless, this match went straight forward all the way to Yagami and Ida. But it was Ida with the lariat that picked up the win. And just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Queen's Quest, consistent of Miya Amasaki, Lady C, and Azumi, taking on EXV's Zina, Waka Tsukiyama, and Mina Shirakawa. Now, you would think this would practically be a bit of a warm up or try to build up momentum because, as you know, um, they're building up their moment. Mina and Xena have to pick up their momentum since on the 2nd of June they will face against Oedo Tai. That was the whole point. Even though they won the match, I mean, it was Xena who picked up the win with the Thunderstruck on Lady C. However, I don't know if it would be a satisfied win because they have to deal with Oedo Tai, knowing that yes, this is not the opponents they wanted, but it did. Our next match, we have Cosmic Angel members Sayaka Kurata, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori taking on Starlight Kid, and she teams up with Mei Suruga and Shuri. Very interesting dynamic to see. Now, recently Kurara has questioned about Starlight Kid because we know recently, I think Kurara was paying attention that Tam Nakano saved her life when she was expelled from Oedo Tai, so it's still in the open air for that. But unfortunately, things didn't go well for, of course, these Cosmic Angels because it was Yuna Mizumori who ended up on the wrong side of the Rolling Star by Mei Suruga. So that's how it ended right there. Now our next match, we have Rina, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora of Oedo Tai take on two members of Queen's Quest, Hina, Sayaka Mitani, and Maika. Now, don't forget, recently we have been seeing something interesting. Kamitani is in hopes that Momo Watanabe should return back to Queen's Quest, but however, Momo seems like she sees what's the problem. Utami Ashida's gone. They're confused. And Sayaka Mitani is stepping up as the leader, but Azumi has her doubts over the fact about Momo. She doesn't trust her. I mean, I don't blame her because who could forget? Momo whacked her with the chair when she betrayed her. I mean, but yes. But, however, it was Natsuko Tora who picked up the win when she applied the Swanton Bomb onto Hina. However, Momo whispered something to Kamitani. Now, many people were leaving comments about this on the X account, and it was like, okay, what is this about? Now, people are thinking, what if Momo is manipulating Kamitani, to join? We've seen that before. We saw Starlight Kid that did the same thing with Momo a couple years ago, about 2 years ago or so. And it worked. And not to mention, Momo even tried to do the same thing during last year at the cage match, before the cage match. But nonetheless, who knows? But we'll see. Now, our main event, we have Cosmic Angels members Natsupoi, Tam Nakano, and Sayuri Inoi. They take on stars Hanan, Azuki, and Mayu Iwatani. Now, it's no secret how these two teams are, but however, Azuki and Hanan have one thing in sight, and that is the white belt. That's always been their play, to get their hands on that belt off of Sayuri Inoi due to the fact they don't like her because she's an outsider. She is not an inbred of Stardom. But unfortunately, things didn't go well because it was Hana who ended up on the wrong side of the fairy brink, Natsupoi, and just like that, Cosmic Angels won. While things were getting very interesting, Hanan and Azuki were looking at Sayuri Inoi. They say they want a shot of that belt. Unfortunately, someone decided to step up, and this one is a non-Stardom member roster, and this one is Mika Owada, the current Sendai Girls World Champion, and someone that Sayuri Inoi has history with. Turns out that these ladies know each other very, very well. They debuted around almost the same time, but, however, many of their matches led into their time limit draws, and it makes perfect sense why Mika Owada showed up. Sayuri Inoi felt that now that she's the white belt champion, let's settle this. So now they have to break those tiebreakers away from them. I'm sure everybody else are wondering about that, but nonetheless, we can trust Sayuri Inoi in her ability, but Natsupoi is hoping that she holds on to that belt a little longer. And I think many fans are thinking, what if Natsupoi wins that belt by the end of this year? I mean, anything's a possibility, but we'll just have to wait and see when that day comes. But as of right now, let's move on to the next Stardom event, Korakuen Hall. Okay, we continue with more with Stardom, and we head back to Korakuen Hall. This is their much recent show. This one features a pretty good main event with a championship match. Excuse me. Anyway, we opened up our match with a three-way match. We have Rian, Mei Suruga, and Saki Kashima, but I don't know what to make of this with you guys. You know, Saki Kashima with her usual shenanigans. She showed up with a somewhat version of the high speed belt. Now, don't forget, Kamitani is the current high speed champion, but yeah, she was carrying around like she's the champion still. I don't know if she's like already in that mode where like I miss my belt, I miss my precious. I don't know, but nonetheless, because of that, she lost. Well, because of her usual ways, she lost the match. But this time, no, Kashima actually won her match and she pinned Rian because apparently it was Mei who took Rian out, and Kashima, being a bit of opportunist, took out the match, took the win just like that. And of course, continue on as a champion. But Mei Suruga, she is not happy, but she'll get to her. Now, our next match, we have Oedo Tai's consistent of Fukigen Death and Rina taking on God's Eye, Rana Yagami, and Ami Shuri. So this was going to be a pretty interesting match, but I can tell you that this match ended with God's Eye winning thanks to Ami Shuri with the Blue Thunder Bomb onto Fukigen Death. But however, it seems that Rana Yagami has her sights set on the future belt. Rina, well, she's nothing but a spoiled brat who doesn't want to lose her belt. She wants to break her sister's defense record, which is 10, and I think she's like currently number 8. So she is two wins away. But we'll see what happens until then. Our next match, we have a bit of a Stars showdown. Now remember, not too long ago, FWC, our current Goddesses of Stardom champions, Koguma and Azuki, issued the challenge to Wingori, their fellow teammates, Hanan and Sayaida, for these belts. So, however, Mayu teams up with Koguma and Azuki, while Momokogo teams up with Wingori. So, you know this was not going to be an easy task for, of course, Wingori and Momokogo, because it was basically, you look at the top core members of Stars. And of course, it was, a pump kick by Azuki to Momokogo to pick up the win. But the real question is, can Hanan and Saida pick up the win? Well, that didn't do so well for them. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about that. Our next match, we have Hanako and Waka Tsukiyama taking on God's Eye members, Konami and Shuri. Now, Waka has interest in trying to defeat Konami. She did end up in a draw before in a singles match, but however, that didn't do so well for her, and she thought that maybe now that she's stronger, she can take her on. But unfortunately, that didn't do any well because she ended up on the wrong side of the triangle lancer, which is, of course, the last thing you want to be in. Of course, right now they're frustrated because another loss in her tag team, her tag team record, because we know that Hanako and Waka are aiming for the new blood belts. But however, this was another loss that I don't know if they will ever get back to it, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have Starlight Kid teaming up with the members of Queen's Quest, Hina, Miyu Amasaki, Lady C, Azumi, and Sayaka Mitani, take on the entire membership of Cosmic Angels, Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, Yuna Mizumori, Natsupoi, Tam Nakano, and Sayori Inoi. So you know how this match is going to be out to turn out, because of course Sayaka Mitani does have history with Tam Nakano. She used to be Tam's student until she decided to join Queen's Quest. And Starlight Kid, well, we know she's trying to get a feel out of every unit she can team up with. But nonetheless, it was Kurara who ended up in the end when she lost to Azumi. I mean, she actually took it like a champ. However, she ended up being on the how do I say, on the double foot stomp by Azumi, and she blamed herself for that loss. But however, Tam reminded her that it's no one's fault. You know, we attempt to prove that we're still stronger as we normally be. But they did ask her, "Do you have a belt? You said you have a goal in mind." And I think many people are expecting this one because it seems that we are expecting the possibilities that Sayakura and Ayasaka will team up to challenge for the new blood belts. I wouldn't be surprised if they won those belts before Waka and Hanako. And I know Waka's going to be so jealous of that. Or possibly Hanako will be jealous too. Who knows? But yes, so we'll see where that leads us. Now, our main event, we have the Artists of Stardom Championships. We have Oedo Tai, consisting of Tekla, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora, who won a number one contendership gauntlet match. They face against Xena, Mina, and Maika. Now, you would think this is going to be a brutal match. I mean, Mina was getting hit by Tekla's belt. I mean, Oedo Tai are not a team you don't don't take lightly, because these guys don't give a damn about anything. They just want to beat people up. That's always been the case. But however, there was a moment where Natsuko Tora accidentally missed, well, not missed, but missed Momo Watanabe instead of who was it? I don't remember who it was, but it was crazy. It was like that. And then of course it was Xena who picked up the win with the Thunderstruck on Momo Watanabe in order to pick up their next win. However, in the post-match comments, Natsuko Tora decided to put the blame on, well, you guys are going to think this is very ridiculous coming from her. Well, she blamed Saya Kamitani for this loss. So basically, that's the case. Some of you may question why she blamed Kamitani. She was not even involved in the match. Well, we would agree, but I think she thinks because right now there's been Kamitani is hoping that Momo Watanabe will side with her again. I mean, that's kind of like you would say wishful thinking coming from her part. But however, in the post match, we did see, as you know, Maika was frustrated because if you saw Flashing Champions, she didn't get no title match. I mean, she didn't even defend her belt at all. She was like wondering, why is no one challenging me? So she's like in that frustration mode, questioning, why is nobody challenging me? I mean, we know she wants to challenge Tam Nakano. You know, she's willing to put her red belt on the line because she has lost to her before. But no one's challenging her, which is weird. So she nominates her own teammate Xena for this. However, as soon as this promo was almost done by Mina, Stardom had an unexpected visitor, and that is, of course, Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm. And this is what people have been expecting for a while now. So it appears that Toni Storm is willing to put the AEW World Title on the AEW Women's World Title on the line at Forbidden Door. This is a huge thing, and Mina is confident enough to believe she will win that belt. But I highly doubt that she could win it because there's a factor in this entire match, and that factor is Mariah May. And that's where things are going to be tricky, and I will talk about that at another time. But as of right now, this is how things end with Stardom. EXV retained their artist belts, but let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, welcome to our news update. So let's begin. We only have one update with Marigold on the promotion side. As you know, they will have their next upcoming event on the 11th of June in Korakuen Hall, and this is the card that they have. Utami Ayashida will take on Passion Nanane Takahashi. Victoria Suzuki will take on Suri. Now, don't forget, Suri has declaring herself as the ace of Marigold, which upsets well, should I say, pissed off majority of the MARIGOLD roster. Then we have Miko Inoue, Kuki Amari, and Chika Goto taking on Bozilla, Saya Ida, no, I mean Saya, Steel, and of course, Mila Grace. We have Misa Matsui and Masakurai teaming up. They take on Mitsu, Shozuki, what's her name? Oh yeah, uh, Chiaki, and then of course we have Naoshikawa, who's back after hurting herself not too long ago. She takes on Nagisa Nozaki, and then of course we have Mirai, who in fact is giving a debut match for Komomo Minami. Now, those who remember, Minami in fact was part of that batch with Hanako and Saya Ida in Stardom. So she was injured, but her debut was postponed, and we haven't heard from her since. But I'm glad that she's getting her debut that she's been earning for. But right now, let's keep moving forward. Now, we're jumping in with some developments here for all of you. Let's see what we have here for. Oh yeah. Now, this is something I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate. I don't know what you guys would think. Um, Pro Wrestling Network reports that WWE has been in consideration to make a women's mid-card championship, and that belt is called the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, I don't know how you guys would feel about it. I mean, people criticize AEW for having way too many belts. I mean, anybody sees the problem here right now with W? They're also making another belt, so who knows? But we'll see. Now, once again, Evil is bitching about the best of the Super Juniors. He's saying that he wants to abolish it. The only reason he's saying that is because, of course, Sho did not even make it to the finals. Well, it's because he wants things to go his way. So, there's no way he's going to abolish, but I can say that because this is what he says. There's been fouls and misjudgments. Give me a break, Evil. You have been using fouls on this entire time in New Japan. So this is why I say he's a nothing but a pathetic loser who, wants to win in any cost. And he thinks that he's the good guy. He thinks the president of New Japan. No, Tanahashi is my president. So, suck off, Evil. Now, those who know this or not, Will Ospreay has donated money to the Ugandan promotion, Soft Ground Wrestling. So recently there has been talks between both parties. Will Ospreay often talked about going to Uganda to participate in their events. And of course, according to what they're saying, it's good timing. So hopefully we get to see that. I'm sure many of you would like to see it. Now, those who've been aware of this, Miu Watanabe has a brand new submission move. Now, the name of it has not been revealed, but until now. So the name is called Reverse Paradox. Well, not a bad name, but yeah, I think I like it. So yeah, so that's the new submission move from Miu Watanabe. Now, Tam Nakano has recently been talking, and this is what she had to say. Now, there was one about talking about going overseas, saying like spreading everything about going overseas, the face like Willow or Mercedes. This is what she had to say about that. Rather than me going into the world, I want to take Stardom to the world. I want to make Stardom the #1 promotion in the world. So what I would do is achieve that. I need to fight for myself to become the best in the world. Stardom with the world's #1 wrestler Tam Nakano in it is the #1 in the world. That's easy to understand, isn't it? I think that if anyone could be the gateway for people around the world to see Stardom, it's me, because I'm cute. Yeah. But she often talk about spreading Stardom, and this is what she said. I wrestled in America in April, and it's made me realize that pro wrestling is watched by enormous amount of people and widely loved. Of course, Stardom Pro Wrestling is not to be outdone, but it also feels like the current situation is too extreme. The difficulties of the moves and precision of development and the complex human relationships. These are appalling, but I think there are also aspects that are too intense, difficult to get in. In order for Stardom Pro Wrestling to be the best in the world, I think times has come for it to redefine one more level. So she's saying that she would like to spread Stardom out in the world, and she wants to be that person to do so. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, she's always been often loyal to Stardom, despite that she wasn't part of the inbreds within the dojo system. But yeah, and there's that. And recently, she has talked about Mercedes Monet, and this is what she had to say. I've been used as a foil by Mercedes before. I thought I'd become the champion and take Monet. Last January, Tam challenged for the IWGP. Well, this was last year. Tam, of course, challenged for the IWGP title against Kyrie and lost. But who could forget that Mercedes Monet made her debut there, and that's how the whole thing happened. So, of course, Tam hasn't forgotten about that. So, she might want to get revenge on that. Now, as you all know, there's been talks about the IWGP Women's title being defended. Mayu Iwatani is planning to defend the belt against Tsukasa Fujimoto, who is from Ice Ribbon. So basically, she talks about her true nature, and this is what she had to say about her. Well, she seems like a nice person, but I think she's only think about herself. I mean, are there wrestlers who have grown by being involved with her? No one has risen to the top, and I think because she's self-centered and thinks enough if she's at the top. Every time she probably came to Stardom to raise a profile using Nakajima's retirement in August as an excuse. After fighting her, I realized there are people out there whose personalities are so obvious. So she thinks that using Nakajima's retirement as a way to enter the phrase. So it would make sense about that, but hopefully things are happening. However, Mayu did stated that this match will happen, but however, this is not up to Stardom or Ice Ribbon. This is up to the IWGP committee. So I think Mayu is waiting when is the appropriate time, and I hope it will be soon. And of course, at first Tsukasa Fujimoto was questioning about that, and then she realized, okay, so it makes sense. Mayu doesn't make that decision. Stardom doesn't make that decision. It's the IWGP committee. So I'm sure we're waiting to what the IWGP committee will do next. So we'll see what happens. So we'll stay on top of this one. So as of right now, I believe it's time to call it a day. Okay, so I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we're going to be heading to the semifinals of the Best of the Super Juniors. So who will walk out? We do have, of course, Taiji Shimori will face against TJP. Doki will be facing, of course, Desperado. But only one of these two men will walk out into the finals heading to Dominion. And I think many of us are excited to see. And then after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. There's still some wrestling I haven't catched up yet. But I'll get to that as soon as possible. But I think we'll just leave things as it is. And of course, and I will say this, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.